Hi everyone, as part of our Let's Talk series, we are going to be talking to you about remote counselling. So my name is Lauren, I'm a counsellor at the City of Glasgow College, and this is my colleague Heather.
Hi everyone, I'm also a counsellor at City of Glasgow College.
So basically, COVID has meant a really big shift in the way that we learn, work, think, behave and feel. So there's been a lot of changes that might be helpful in some ways and not so helpful in others. And today we're going to talk about how we have changed the way we deliver counselling to students. So basically, we're going to be talking about remote counselling, which basically means it's any counselling that's not face-to-face. And the types of remote counselling we offer at the City of Glasgow College are video counselling and telephone counselling. So I'm going to let Heather chat to you a wee bit about video counselling.
So I guess face-to-face counselling is something of a tradition. It's something we've always done in counselling. It's the norm, I guess. And remote counselling isn't a new thing, isn't something that we've ever thought of being something brand new during the pandemic. It has always existed, but it's never existed to this capacity before, I don't think. The fact that people are now moving on to different platforms to access different services is really great and reassuring, but it also comes with its own difficulties and barriers. So with video counselling, one of the platforms that we use is Zoom, and that can be, it's quite normal to have Zoom as a kind of remote counselling and also a remote anything platform, whether it be teaching or whether it be for learning support or a student advisor meeting. And with Zoom, it's quite a encrypted service, so it's quite a secure service for us to use. And if you're interested in using video sessions, the things that we expect is for you to have your camera on, is for us to kind of be able to see you so that you can also see us, and for us to kind of have the equal playing field. This is probably the closest thing to face you'll get in this moment, because you'll be able to see each other face to face. You just won't be able to see anything like from your shoulders down, really. So I think that's a great benefit of having video counselling. Other things that we expect is having a secure Wi-Fi system, having a secure IT system. So making sure that you can have a screen big enough that you can see us, whether that be a laptop or an iPad. It can be your phone as well, but sometimes that's not always sustainable. And you can always ask the college to borrow a laptop through the laptop loaning scheme if you ever really need to access a service like that. And like I said before, a secure Wi-Fi system so that nobody hacks in and there's no viruses or anything like that getting transferred when we're on the call. If you choose to have video counselling, you'll get sent a link to the Zoom invite every single week for your appointment. And that'll be something that your counsellor does for you, and that link is something that you need to keep private between you and your counsellor. You can't share it outside of your sessions, otherwise you're breaching confidentiality as well. The room will be closed, which means that you'll be invited to a waiting room, invited to come in at your appointment time, and then it'll be closed so that nobody else can come in as well. So these are the things that we've tried to put in place to make sure that this platform is as safe as possible, so that you also, as students, feel secure. And it's a great way of being able to connect and be able to talk, be able to see people. And like I said, it's the closest thing to face that we can offer right now.
Absolutely, thanks so much, Heather. And I think, like you said, being able to see expressions can be really important for people. You can access it in your own home if you've got a private space, or obviously talk to the college if that's not possible. There's no need to leave the house, so it can be helpful for people that maybe feel kind of anxious about leaving. And it can be helpful if perhaps there are financial implications about you travelling into the college.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of the difficulties that can come up with that, obviously, because there's nothing that's perfect, is there can be some connection issues. Sessions can maybe be a wee bit disjointed, and some people might not have access to a private space at home. As well, some people say they feel a bit awkward on Zoom sometimes, and that can be overcome with a little bit of practice. And obviously in traditional face-to-face counselling, we wouldn't see into each other's living spaces. So some people might be a wee bit uncomfortable with that. So that's things to bear in mind about kind of video counselling as well.
Yeah.
So
I think what's really important is that the counsellor usually, if there's any barriers to that and you're feeling really anxious, it's something that you can talk to us about at your assessment, but also in your sessions. So if you're coming to sessions saying, I can see myself and I don't like to see myself, there is practical ways of changing that. So you can hide your self-view, so you only see the person that you're talking to. And there might be ways for us to kind of just talk about actually what's going on for you when you see yourself as well. Sometimes that can be a really good piece of work to actually wonder what this anxiety is that comes from that.
Absolutely. And I think discussing that with your counsellor is really, really important, because there are always options and there's always flexibility and adaptations that can be made as well. So obviously, you know, we want students to feel as comfortable as possible. So we're open to talk about any kind of worries or concerns that you have as well. So that's great. So I'm going to chat to you a wee bit about telephone counselling, which obviously is when you're on the phone and there's no video. So in that scenario, the counsellor will call you. So they'll have a number for you and call you at the same day and time every week. Obviously, the requirements for that are a phone, a confidential space, important to have good phone signal. And sometimes, you know, it might be helpful if you have headphones as well. It might make it a little bit easier, but you don't obviously have to. With telephone, some students sort of report that it might be a wee bit easier to open up sometimes because you don't see people's faces. If there's maybe a wee bit of Wi-Fi connection issues, the phone audio might be a little bit clearer, which can be helpful. Also, phones are portable and it doesn't have to be done in a kind of stationary place. You don't have to be at home, sitting down. You don't have to be in the college. So perhaps if you've not necessarily got a private indoor space, you could, go outside, go on a walk somewhere where there aren't many people around and have that as well and be walking around. Not everyone has IT equipment like a laptop, so that can be an option for people with a phone as well. And again, might be quite beneficial for people who experience anxiety. And there's less financial implications for that as well.
I think that's a really sorry. The
barriers.
barriers.
That's exactly what happens is we're doing it live. That awkwardness.
Yeah, showed it. I was just going to say that that's a really good point to make about, you know, that the barriers can be like different things for different people. Finances is a big, huge thing right now for people. So exploring those options with student advisors, looking at financial aid, looking at what financial help the college can give, but also what equipment can we give as well. We want to try and make it as easy as possible for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to balance that out, I just want to talk about some of the potential kind of barriers or difficulties. And telephone counselling people might be more distracted if you're on the phone. You might be tempted to kind of do different things, like maybe do your housework or, you know, look at something else, or kind of you're not face to face in that room with that person. Again, there's the potential of signal issues. Some people might find it a little bit more difficult to open up if you don't have that same facial expression or body language. Or there might be the potential for maybe session flow difficulties. But again, all our counsellors are trained in remote counselling. So, you know, we are very well versed in this and we'll do our absolute best to make sure that the counselling experience, is as, you know, close to, you know, that relational face-to-face as possible.
Yeah, we want to make it sure that it's flowing as well as can.
Exactly.
And I guess these issues that come up for both video and telephone aren't just something that happens to students, it happens to us as well as counsellors and our team. So it's okay for students to go, hey, I can't hear you, your signal's really rubbish, or hey, you're really crackly, or you sound like you're in a tin can. It's okay for students to feed that back to us, because it means we can improve our quality so that students are experiencing a good quality of therapy as well.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to touch on, you know, what a safe confidential space is. And this is both for students and for us as counsellors as well. So you know, the expectation is that we are in a space that's safe and confidential, so that the student feels as though the confidentiality is respected as it would be in face-to-face. So for students, a safe confidential space doesn't have to be at home. There's a potential of booking a room at the college if required or if needed. It could be in a car, it can be outside, away from people. A safe space is different for everyone, and it's not always at home. The most common safe space is maybe a physical room in some way, in which you and your counsellor are present, and you can feel the ability to speak freely. And obviously the potential of interruption is minimised. And I say minimised because we can't always, guarantee that that's not going to happen. There might be situations when, friends or flatmates or family members come into your space at home, or, maybe a delivery driver knocks on the door, someone knocks on the door. And of course that might happen, but, we'll be able to manage it at that point. And I think it's really important to also mention that during face-to-face counselling, there can be interruptions of some kind as well. And it's our responsibility as counsellors just to manage that and to kind of make you feel comfortable with that as well. It can also be helpful to think about scheduling sessions when your house is empty or less busy. Maybe mention to people in your home that you have a private meeting. You don't have to say that it's counselling. And you limit your distractions. Maybe put your phone on silent, turn your TV off, and discuss this with your counsellor at your wellbeing assessment, so we can support you in attending your sessions in whatever way. We're really, really open to talk about how we can help you and suggest ways where you might feel more comfortable. But I think the kind of main thing to sort of finish with is that, no one size fits all. Everyone has different needs and comfort levels. And the most important thing is that you have an informed choice to allow you to make the best decision for you. And that goes for any kind of counselling, whether that's, face-to-face, telephone, or video as well.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, thank you so much, guys. As usual, we have our FAQ page on our website that you can go onto My City and have a little look if you've got any further questions. And you can book a wellbeing assessment at the college by going to My City, apps, bookings, and scrolling down to wellbeing assessment. So thank you so much, Heather.
Thank you, Lauren. Great to chat.
Great to chat. See you later.
Bye.